What's up everybody, my name is Carl, and today I'm going to review Zack Snyder's Justice League. Directed by Zack Synder, this film is a love letter to all DC fans out there and what everybody was originally supposed to see 3 to 4 years ago. After the tragic loss of Superman, Bruce Wayne and Diana Prince search for and recruit a team of heroes with special and unique abilities in order to save the planet from a catastrophic event. Bruce Wayne, Batman, played by Ben Affleck. This Batman was pure GOAT. He was a complete badass. Why wasn't this in the Whedon Cut? In the Whedon Cut, we got a Bruce Wayne that was too similar to Stark. He was also big-headed and very codependent on Alfred and his vehicles. As well as all of this, he was also treated like a joke, especially with the "do you bleed" scene. Oh god. Whereas this version of Batman was not treated like a joke, he had an important role to the team as the recruiter and had some really good combat scenes with or without the heavy machinery. It was very reminiscent to the fighting style of the warehouse scene in BVS. Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot. I can honestly say that in both versions of this film, Diana carried the film very well. In this film, her role was to understand and discover what the threat was, as well as recruiting, and seriously kick some ass. Putting Wonder Woman 1984 aside, this version of Wonder Woman was grittier and showed no mercy. A true warrior. Victor Stone, Cyborg, played by Ray Fisher. His whole backstory made him more likeable and a kind-hearted person, as well as someone with their own personal problems, making him relatable. The Whedon Cut didn't even show a single thing of his backstory, let alone flesh his whole character out. I really grew to like Cyborg and understand how his powers worked. In fact, we got to see how he uses them in depth, which again was not shown or explained that well in Whedon's version. Arthur Curry, Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa. I felt like in the Whedon Cut, Aquaman was given the Thor-esque treatment and it really didn't work. He wasn't a surfing dude bro. We understood his backstory as someone who didn't want to associate himself with his Atlantean roots and wanted to be left alone. I'm glad they got rid of all the corny face reactions and jokes from the Whedon Cut, as this version of Aquaman is more serious and grounded. Barry Allen, Flash, played by Ezra Miller. The Flash was still a light-hearted comic relief that the film needed, but he wasn't overkill in this version. Whedon really ruined the Flash by making him a clumsy, terrified idiot. I understand giving superheroes flaws makes them somewhat relatable, but the MCU already have done that justice, and I really don't think we need a repeat of this. This version of Flash was intelligent, witty, and had some amazing set pieces, certainly saving Iris in the car crash sequence to activating the mother box to resurrecting Superman to the final sequence. It just showed that this version of Flash was aware of how he could use his power and utilising it to his full potential and beyond when he needed to the most. I'm hoping they still do explore the Flashpoint film. I feel like this was hinted at several times in this film with the consequences of reversing time. Steppenwolf, played by Kieran Hines. Steppenwolf was certainly one of the best parts of this film, playing a more menacing and powerful antagonist. The CGI work on Steppenwolf looked amazing. He looked more bulkier and taller, not to mention he had this cool armour design which peeled away. I think also in this version of Justice League, we got a better understanding of his motivations. He was trying to prove to Darkseid his loyalty and was trying to regain his trust by collecting the mother boxes and destroying the Earth. He seemed more of a threat that even the likes of Aquaman and Wonder Woman would struggle to fight him solo in combat. His death was pretty badass. Aquaman piercing his trident through Steppenwolf's chest and then Diana chopping his head off was quite fitting and seemed to have sent Darkseid a message. Favourite sequences: the Wonder Woman Courthouse fight scene. The whole sequence was perfectly orchestrated, from the domestic terrorists, the innocent hostages, and then boom! Diana comes in courtesy of her theme tune, which really heightened the sequence. All the slow motion shots really dramatised the situation well, and some of the visual shots and VFX were amazing. It was dark when Diana vaporised that main terrorist, as this didn't happen in the Whedon Cut, but there is no mercy when it comes to being a warrior. And this scene played out better, foreshadowing the inevitable death of Steppenwolf. Cyborg's powers. As I mentioned earlier, I really loved how we got to explore Cyborg's powers. The whole sequence where we experienced his capabilities as his dad spoke through the recording was brilliant. The moment where he helped that lady by putting more money into her bank account was brilliant. It showed his compassion to others, which is a strong heroic trait. It also refers back to his backstory pre-Cyborg. It still shows despite his transformation, he is still willing to help others. Superman joining the final fight. We can all agree that this black-suited non-CGI mustache version of Superman was epic. His entrance in the final fight sequence was brilliant. The "not impressed" line was 10 times better than the corny lines he did about justice in the Whedon Cut. He was there when the rest of the team needed him the most, to defeat Steppenwolf. Flash saving the world. I can't believe this was not in the Whedon Cut. This was definitely the moment Flash deserved to have. Not someone tripping over their feet and only saving one family. He saved the whole world from catastrophe. His small speech he made as he reversed time was poetic and unforgettable. The Flash reversing time may have dire consequences for the future, but if it means saving the world, it sure was worth it. The good points of this film. This version is way more grittier, serious, and we have characters whose arcs are more fleshed out and understood. The slow motion shots were visually cool and artistic. There are so many one-shots that I love, with Superman flying up to the top of the earth in the sunlight, to the slow motion shot of the team in the final sequence in full fight mode. The musical score is beautiful and really dramatises the film in a positive way, making it more of a serious superhero film. There are no overemphasising close-up reaction shots to enforce humour. I like the aspect ratio setup. It's strange because normally you'd expect it to be distracting, but it really isn't. I think it centres what's most important within the frame versus the standard frame setup where you can see more within the background. The bad points of this film. I feel like the negative could be that this film to the standard film watcher is that it's too long. Although this could be a bad point, this film is split into parts which are 30 to 40 minutes long each. So pausing the film in between is not exactly a problem, and you can easily catch up with it. I'm not sure what the reaction would be for those who haven't watched the Whedon Cut, but certainly for those who have watched both, you could certainly appreciate and enjoy this version more, having known what atrocities came in 2017. So is this better than the Whedon Cut? Yes. I mean, there's no argument here. I feel like Whedon was trying to make this film into an MCU-styled film, and from the fails of Age of Ultron, he tried to replicate it in this stylistically, and it just didn't work. The Snyder Cut was always going to be better because there was a lot of passion and enthusiasm going into this project. Zack had a vision for the DCEU, and I'm glad we finally got to see a part of it. So in conclusion, I would give this film an 8.5/9 out of 10. This was the version of Justice League we should have got those many years ago. It has characters that are fleshed out and are likeable, with stunning visual effects and slow motion artistic shots to top it off with a beautiful dramatic musical score. This was an epic film to watch. Yes, the negative could be the 4-hour runtime, but honestly for fans out there, I don't think it's a problem. Even for the avid film watcher, I don't think it would be much of a problem, as it's certainly something you can pause and come back to. So comment down below what you thought of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Did you prefer it to the Whedon Cut? Who were your favourite characters? What were your favourite sequences and Easter eggs? And what did you think the good points and bad points were? Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!